This video is dedicated towards Hindu demon Asura, known as Apasmara or Pishatra Mayalakan. This demon is the part of the Hindu Ayanist Tantric tradition, and this is being which came to me on many occasions and wanted to work with me. He is really interesting spirit. For us to understand his lore, we need to focus on this image to know who Apasmara is. So you know all, or almost all, the image of the cosmic dance of Shiva, in which Lord Shiva, Shivadeva, the god of knowledge and wisdom, dances within a wheel, and he stops and stomps upon a small dwarven figure which lies on the lower part of the wheel. That lower figure, that small dwarf figure, is nobody else than Pishatra Mayalakan, or Apasmara, the demon of ignorance. Now he dwells within the realm of Pishatra, and his name is Mayalakan, or Apasmara, and his name means ignorance or nonsense. So he is the demon who is created by the Brahman, or the All, and given the task of guarding the hidden knowledge from the gods and men. So he is responsible for existence of ignorance within this realm. But he is also a being which can reveal enormous hidden knowledge. Larger amounts of hidden knowledge than the majority of the spirits which exist within this world and within this spiritual reality. He seems to be extremely interested in humanity and human evolution. And he also seems to be extremely interested in experiencing this specific plane of existence. Now, as my audience, you probably know that Apasmara is a demon of Hindu lore, but you also probably know that I have specific neurological disorder, cerebral paralysis. Well, I summoned Apasmara yesterday, or Pishatra Mayalakan, and today I researched more of his lore in order to prepare for this video. And guess what I found? I found that Apasmara is also connected to neurological disorders. So this cannot be a coincidence, and now I will give you the method how to summon Apasmara or Pishatra Mayalakan. Now let's go into a little bit of detail how Pishatra Mayalakan or Apasmara can be summoned. And I was surprised to find how simple and effective evocation methods are on Ayanist website, which I will put in the description below, and I will also put a YouTube video where I found information on how to summon Apasmara in the description below, and I will also put a Patreon of Ayan World Foundation in the description below. That way you can check out all of my sources and use them as you wish, but right now I will tell you how to summon Apasmara. So right now you will see the yantra on the screen. The yantra is a magical symbol which acts as a gateway or portal, and by inscribing yantra on the floor, on the piece of paper, you already weakened the realm within the worlds. Now this yantra, this specific yantra, is connected somehow to Pishatra Tala, where Pishatra Mayalakan resides. So In order to summon Pishatra Mayalakan, write the Stala gateway into the lower realms, either on the piece of paper or on the floor, and glaze into it and gaze upon it while repeating Pishatra Mayalakan Pishatra Mayalakan Pishatra Mayalakan Pishatra Mayalakan Pishatra Mayalakana Pasmara Pishatra Mayalakana Pasmara over and over again. By the way, there are some key things I need to tell you here. Do not notice and gaze into the details upon the seal. Simply put the seal in front of your eyes and gaze through the seal. Don't pay attention to the details. Instead, repeat the name of Mayalakan, Pishatra Mayalakan, over and over again until your rational mind dissolves, so you can notice the spiritual energy, until you enter that meditative state. Now, many people make fundamental mistake of counting how many times they repeated particular mantra. Don't be that idiot. Don't be so ignorant. Okay? Just repeat the mantra, be relaxed, and look upon the seal as if you are looking through it. And focus on repetition of the mantra, By the way, while you repeat the mantra, you should also focus on your emotion and desire to summon a spirit. Don't rationally try to notice a spirit, or don't try to rationally comprehend it. Instead, just focus on your emotion to summon a spirit, on your desire to summon a spirit, while looking into the yantra you see right now on the screen in a relaxed manner, and repeat the chant over and over again. Actually, I need to elaborate once again the entire procedure. During the night, preferably at 2 a.m., you draw this yantra either on the floor or at the piece of paper. You put it in front of yourself. And then, when you do so, in a relaxed manner, gaze into the yantra, the gateway you see on the screen, without paying attention to the details or lines of the yantra. You don't have to draw the yantra exactly as you see it on the screen, but it's preferable for your drawing to be as resembling yantra on the screen as much as possible. But this yantra is easy to draw, so I don't see any problem in drawing this. So draw this, preferably at 2 a.m. during the night. Asuras are summoned almost exclusively during the night, and during the day it's difficult to summon them because the energies of the sun technically banish their resonance, so it is really difficult to open a gateway and summon them. That's the reason why you summon the spirit in 2 a.m. So let's keep things clear. Draw this yantra during the night, preferably at 2 a.m. in a room which is not heavily lighted. Be relaxed and gaze into the yantra in a relaxed manner without paying attention to the details of the lines of yantra you are gazing into. Then repeat the name of Pishatra Mayalakan and the magical chant for summoning him you will see in white letters below the yantra on the screen. Repeat over and over again. Pishatra Mayalakana Pasmara, Pishatra Mayalakana Pasmara, Pishatra Mayalakana Pasmara, Pishatra Mayalakana Pasmara, while relaxedly gazing in yantra in front of you. while you repeat the mantra and gaze into the yantra or the gateway. You do not count the number of repetitions or focus on details of the yantra. Rather, you focus on your emotion to summon the spirit, on your emotional drive to summon the spirit. And you focus on that emotion and cultivate it until you feel the energy of the spirit. When you feel the energy of the spirit with you in the room, it is a key to go to the next step, which is focusing on the energy of the spirit and continuing to chant the mantra and look into the yantra. Now, once the presence of the spirit reaches the amount of density which cannot be ignored, then you start talking to the spirit and giving him your requests. In Ayanist website, they say that Pishatra Mayalakan or Apasmara can use your negative energy or negative energy of his realm to curse your enemies. He can also vampirize negative energy of you in order to bring good luck in your life. He can manifest you money, according to the Ayanist website I found my information on. But personally, I asked Mayalakan myself for the most important role of his, which is his role as a gatekeeper of knowledge. And I asked him to open me a gateway to the knowledge and to the wisdom. And he kinda did this immediately. He remained with me for the rest of the night. And now, when you know how to summon Mayalakan, we will in detail explain to you my experience with him. So, my experience with Pishatra Mayalakan is as follows. I summoned him in the exact way I described to you in this video. Ayan World Foundation on their website suggests some other things you should do to summon the spirit, but I can only talk about the methods I applied personally. So, I drew the yantra on the paper, I looked at the yantra and repeated Pishatra Mayalakan as a mantra until the spirit arrived. Then, when the spirit arrived, I repeated the mantra over and over again to increase the presence, and then, when I was satisfied with the presence felt, I talked to Mayalakan. And what I received was a little bit intense, to say the least. After the ritual, he refused to leave and technically remained for entire night. And he asked me to film this video as an act of gratitude, and he told me that if I film this video, he will help me to tap into more Ayanistic knowledge and to go further. That's the reason why I am filming it. But I will tell you a few things he told me. First thing which he insisted on is that there is no difference between light and darkness. Light and darkness, or void and the creator light, are two halves of the same thing. And he insisted that there is no such a thing as coming and cutting yourself off from the source and going into darkness, because darkness is part of the source. And she insisted that there is no such a thing as apotheosis, because the darkness is part of the universal mind, and if you tap into darkness, you are technically tapping into the form, more feminine form of universal mind. There is no such a thing as damnation, and those who are in darkness are not damned. They are just enlightened by the different form of power. That was the main thing Mayalakan told me. Another thing Mayalakan told me is that aggression and aggressive destruction in spiritual sense, was necessary for expansion of consciousness. After those words, he remained with me and he vampirized me, technically, for the rest of the night. But the way I realized that it wasn't him feeding off me is when he finished, somewhere in the middle of the night, he actually made me feel really strong euphoria. And I felt a big surge of energy coming from my feet into my legs and into my root energy center. So what Mayalakan did is he opened my sub-root chakras, which are known as lower dimensions or talas in Hinduism. He opened energy centers which are below root center, and he opened them in a really raw physical way. What I expected to feel from that is I expected to feel psychopathy, but no. What I felt was pure bliss and euphoria once he opened those centers. Now, Mayalakan will also teach you how to tap into the all and transcendental states through consumption of meat, sex, and alcohol. He teaches you a way how to expand your consciousness and obtain knowledge through carnal pleasure. According to him, if we tap into carnal pleasure with an intention to reach the darker aspect of the divine, because according to him there is only one divine and there is only one source, which is the light and the darkness at the same time. There is no difference between the two according to Mayalakan himself. If we try to tap into darker half of universal all through carnal pleasure, and if we enjoy in carnal pleasure in the act of ritual with the goal to unite with all things, then we will truly be liberated. But if we enjoy the carnal pleasure for the sake of carnal pleasure, we will be ultimately destroyed. So Mayalakan teaches union with all things through carnal pleasure and banishment of ignorance through carnal pleasure. That's his way. And he motivated me to engage in as much carnal pleasures as possible with an intention to unify with the all. That was his direct guidance. Drink as much alcohol, eat as much meat, and practice as much sex through ritual to unify with the all. And you will be liberated from all things in your true destiny. That's what he told me. And it was really raw and really physical. Since I summoned Mayalakan, I got a strong urge to engage in carnal pleasure, but through engaging in that carnal pleasure, I felt the amount of bliss I never felt in my life for 7 years of intense spiritual practice. So, what is also another thing Mayalakan taught me is that there is no easy way to liberation. So he told me that in order to study under him and grasp the basics, I need to summon him for 120 nights, every single night, to reach the basic understanding of his mysteries. He told me that there are 3 main patrons which I will follow upon the left-hand tantric path into the darker aspects of divine. Those 3 patrons are Pishantra Mayalakan, you are listening about right now, Asura Kalanemi, the spirit responsible for setting the limits of time, the demon of time, and Shiva Deva, or Lord Shiva, one of the Hindu gods, who is also having authority over both Asuras and Devas, and he is really completely different animal. Shiva is kinda whitewashed in the modern New Age community, and actual devotees of Shiva, the guys who actually practice yoga and tantra, do not practice what we are taught here in the Western New Age cycles. Actually, summoning asuras or Hindu demons is necessary part of majority of tantric schools out there. So Shiva is the father of those mysteries. He is the first tantric, he is the first yogi, and he is definitely not that fluffy New Age version of him presented in the West. So that's everything I have to say regarding Shiva Deva, but now return to Pishatra Mayalakan for a second once again. So Pishatra Mayalakan is definitely a being who comes intensely, and he is really powerful entity. Only summoning Mayalakan and simply asking him to expand your consciousness and give hidden knowledge brings immediate expansion of consciousness. Now, what I am not trying to say is that summoning Mayalakan once will make you enlightened. It won't. To truly be unified with all things, you need to dedicate one lifetime or even multiple lifetimes exclusively toward pursuit of union with the all in order to have any significant result. But Pishatra Mayalakan is one of those spirits who will lead you to that union with the all quicker than many. But as you probably can guess, his path is much more dangerous than path proposed by many other spirits. According to Pishatra Mayalakan, it is possible to unify with the Brahman through pure destruction, which dissolves the limits of morality, light and darkness. But this is extremely dangerous. So Pishatra Mayalakan advises for his initiates to expand their perception and consciousness first before starting to master any of true techniques he has to offer. And you kinda need to summon him, in my case, for 120 days in a row every night in order to grasp the initial basics. And every time you skip a day, in my case, I have to summon him twice to compensate for skipping a day. So he is really harsh teacher. But I summoned him only once, and then he told me to make this video, and I will summon him tonight too. But you can definitely see that he is harsh teacher, an extremely powerful being, which teaches things which are not politically correct from modern point of view on what spirituality is. Also, Pishatra Mayalakan claims that separation between spiritual and material is absolute illusion, which needs to be obliterated in order for us as seekers of truth to actually see the Brahman or the all in his darker and lighter forms, because as Pishatra says, it is fundamental for the man to reach spirituality through spiritual aspects of his material experience. That's technically the simulation and sublimation of everything he told me during this first summoning. Now, Pishatra Mayalakan then went on detailed explanation how engaging in certain aspects of carnal pleasure can really quickly dissolve the rational mind and temporarily awaken the divine powers of man. I kinda need to summon him multiple times to actually understand what he said, because really he said so much and I understood maybe 10% of what he was saying. So I kinda need to summon him again, and I need to understand what he said, guys, in order for me to actually be able to explain to you what the fuck he is saying. So this video became pretty long because the entity about who we talked in this video is absolutely impressive. So I encourage everybody to respectfully and with dedication summon Pishatra Mayalakan. He can do all of the things I said in the video, but working with him and manifesting shit with him takes time. He is kind of one of those guys who can do a lot of things really quickly, and he will, but he will force you to work hard for absolutely every single thing you ask of him. He is definitely not here to satisfy your egotistic desires. He is aware of his purpose, and he will do whatever you ask of him as long as that thing is within his office. We talked about what his office is before. But he will kinda demand of you to work hard yourself to achieve that in order for him to help you on the issue. But it doesn't negate the fact that if you are in some urgent need, he will definitely help you quickly. But if there is no urgency, he will make you to work hard for what you asked. You will definitely get that in a single night, really hard night. He gave me the most euphoric experience ever, and I am still euphoric from experience of him opening my lower energy centers. But it took time, it took effort, and it took a lot of intense ritual. That ritual I performed to Pishatra Mayalakan last night was one of the most intense rituals I ever did. And I want to thank Pishatra Mayalakan for the end of this video, and I encourage everybody to summon this entity. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.